Daniel Wanjuki, even as we take a look at the soil state in the country, and he says that perhaps if we managed our soils well and monitored well, that maybe we would not even need that element of fertilizer. And Senior, you speak of this, and I think I agree, just looking at the numbers as highlighted, that over 95% of food comes from the soils, and that we are capable of producing 58% more if we could focus much on sustainable soil management.
Correct.
And we have the government that understands this, and with several advisors. And on several occasions I've had farmers complaining that, well, the fertilizer that you gave us was not the best. I don't know, sometimes I hear of APT and something of that nature. What does this speak of a country that is, number one, led by agricultural activities in terms of production?
It's true, with the government claiming that agriculture is a backbone of our economy. And it is true, because we have coffee, tea, we have dairy, beef. All these are sources of food that come from the soil. But when you look at our farmers here in Kiambu, they don't know what they need to use to increase their food production. And the guesswork that comes, I'm saying this because I do constantly do soil analysis, and it's very expensive. And by the time you get the report, the farmer may not even understand it. The government used to have extension officers that would go to the farmer. At least every 10 or 100 farmers would have an officer who would visit them often. Today there are no such people. When the new government dispensation came in, most of those were seen as an unnecessary contribution to the government, local government or the county government, and they were actually given early retirement and they left. What that does is that it leaves farmers who are not very educated at the mercies of the vagaries of weather, because they don't know what's making their food production go down. They will keep on trying to pump more resources into that, without knowing that a small adjustment, maybe the pH of the soil, could actually change everything. What we have seen also is that there is no feedback from the farmer to the government. The government sent a number of bags of fertilizer in a certain county. No attempt to know how was that fertilizer used. Did we get to the target? And if we did, the government should now take upon itself to absorb that extra production. We have said about 58% of food production can be grown just not by increasing acreage, but by improving the soil. That is true. In the last 1 year, areas like Kitale, which is the breadbasket of the country, actually reported almost 200% increase in food production. But what happened? The government reduced this quota of buying from them. They are left with more food, more maize, and less market. They have nowhere to take it. They are now complaining they are being forced to feed it to animals. So the government doesn't realize when you push fertilizer and it improves the production, the farmer should actually be able to know how to dispose of that extra feed. And this is happening when the eastern part of the country is going through a drought. So there's no coordination on the resources we have. If that area can produce for us fodder for the animals in Kiambu, where there is not enough to grow fodder, then that food should be made to be available. The government should buy and put it in their own silos where they're able to keep that production for the next 1 year. Then areas like Kajiado, which have undergone 2 or 3 years of drought, they're losing animals. Yet on the other part of the country, farmers have glut. They have an excess of seeds, maize, which is actually also easily converted into animal feed.
All right.
I would also not like to us to lose the issue of the disease burden in this country, which is associated with our use of pesticide. Many parts of this country are a heavy burden of cancer. I'm talking about some areas in Meru, some villages where almost everybody knows another person who has cancer. We know that for that to happen, either it's in the air or in the soil, and most likely it's in the soil. The soil, our soils have been contaminated with very dangerous chemicals. Some chemicals, from 1940s, we started experimenting with the weapons, and when we were not fighting, we started using the weapons. The chemicals we were using in the weapons, we started using them in agriculture. Some of the chemicals used for clearing forests so that you could see your enemy in the forest were now used by agriculture to clear vegetation, so that you don't have to do tilling. What has that done to us? It's actually made sure that every family here in Kenya has one or a relative who is suffering from cancer. This is because we have messed our soil, we have poisoned our soils, and we have not even attempted to remedy that. Nobody is going out there to pick samples from soils and trying to say, what chemical could this be that is causing this disease?
And I'm glad that you begin by accepting that this can be reversed. So as we come to a close, what are some of the sustainable soil management practices that we can advise government to adopt moving forward?
The first thing is we need to look at using nature to solve our problems. Nature will be able to give us compost fertilizer. By just using vegetation within the farm, compost it and use it as a fertilizer, you actually eliminate the need to use inorganic fertilizer. Our very beautiful markets that have been put around the country, I normally see them burn waste from the market, whereas this should actually be composted and be made available to the farmers as a way of improving the soil structure. We have done research on microbial inoculants that can be added to the soil to make it wholesome. Because what happened is that when you are using artificial chemical or inorganic chemicals, we killed bacteria that were used to help us. I remember the story of the other one. The other one, you would eat the soil and defecate that soil in a better quality. Even the soil was not very good. The other worms would actually take them through the process of improving the soil. Nowadays, there are no other worms in our farms. In fact, there's a farmer in Naivasha who actually grows other worms and sells to people. What happened to our own other worms?
That's true.
It's the government should actually use integrated soil management procedures that becomes available to any farmer. Not for the top-notch guys who are doing horticulture, but every farmer should know how to do a compost heap and make fertilizer that can improve the soil. The other aspect is that we should
we sum it up,
we should avoid using some of the harsh herbicides or pesticides that are actually tearing our soil apart and actually making it, or by killing other microorganisms. We should actually integrate that. And leader, you know, I do research on bacteria. And we have a product that can be used for such soil amelioration, improvement of the soil by using it for composting.
And of course the page is active, that is EcoSave Technologies. You might need to reach out, Daktari, and get details of these research that they are carrying and of importance the products that he speak about. Daktari, thank you so much. Time flies, but we appreciate your time, and we appreciate the fact that we have highlighted very important components to this conversation. Dr. Daniel Wanjuki of EcoSave Technologies Limited, asante sana for the great insights. At this point, we must come to a close because Dan Khan is on the other side and on standby, literally telling me it is time for sports. So at this very point, we close it, and I look forward to see you again on Saturday. My name is Linda Alela. Do have yourself a lovely night.